Okay, let's get into it. Forsytes episode 3.
Yep.
We saw boardroom fights, a really tense wedding, and this devastating ultimatum.
All right, let's unpack this.
For sure.
The episode itself frames it perfectly from the get-go, doesn't it? With Anne Forsyte's opening words.
Ah, yes. That line about the family being defined by the secrets we keep.
Until one of us decides to change the story.
And Julian, he's the one holding the match, really.
Right. His defiance over his children with Louisa. Joe Sr., his dad, tries to brush them off as youthful mistake.
Right.
But Joe just flat out rejects that. He says, they're not mistakes, Dad. They're my actual flesh and blood. That's a huge statement in this family.
He won't just pay Louisa off, make her disappear quietly, which is what the family expects.
He wants to handle it his way, honorably, provide support, respect her wish for no contact.
But that refusal, that very decency, gives James the opening he needs.
He immediately starts plotting to get Joe kicked out of Forsyte & Co.
Citing unfitness, behavior that could harm the firm's reputation. It's all about appearances and ultimately control of the company. And we know it's not about genuine moral outrage from James. It's pure strategy.
And then, almost in parallel, we see Soames doing something equally, transactional with his engagement to Irene.
Rush doesn't even begin to cover it. It's practically an acquisition.
He proposes so formally, and Irene looks completely taken aback. She even points out the social difference.
He says other women are all art and polish, but Irene, she's all nature. And to me, that is perfection.
Ugh. It's not about her as a person. It's about her being unspoiled, something he can possess, like a painting.
Precisely. Then whisked off to Paris. No time for second thoughts, no real courtship. He needs to lock it down.
Because he knows, maybe, that she doesn't actually love him.
It seems implied. He's securing the asset before it can, develop its own opinions or feelings.
And this chaos seems to push June over the edge, too.
Big time. She confronts her father, Joe, and asks that really brutal question. What would you have done if you'd known Louisa was pregnant? He can't answer.
And June reads everything into that silence.
Yeah.
The ideal she had of her father, her family, it just shatters right there. And she learns a lesson from it, a hard one.
To trust no one but myself, to think for myself, and follow her heart.
And where does her heart immediately lead her?
Straight to the most unsuitable person imaginable from a Forsyte perspective. Philip Bosinney, the modernist architect.
Definitely not Forsyte material.
So her deciding to follow her heart sets her up for a massive clash with the family, with their obsession over status and what's proper.
It really does. And you contrast that raw honesty, however painful, with the other marriage plotline, Soames and Irene.
Oh, yeah. The rushed wedding by special license in a fortnight. Very Forsyte.
Totally. And when Anne asks point blank, are you in love? What does Irene say?
She talks about symptoms, right? Like physical reactions, tremors, racing pulse.
Exactly. She calls it a prelude to something deeper. There's no actual love confessed there. It's all uncertainty.
And then there's Emily, James's wife. She has that subtle but incredibly sharp moment.
Oh, yeah. James is judging Soames's choice, questioning the love aspect.
And Emily just turns to him and asks, essentially, well, was our marriage based on love, dear? Boom.
Exposing the hypocrisy right there.
And while Joe's dealing with that personal bomb, the corporate stuff heats up.
Right. James has his ducks in a row. He gets Monty Darty onto the board, secures his vote.
And then, bam, item 5, reputational risk. He doesn't hold back. Uses the most loaded class-based language.
Senior partner debauching a serving maid.
Right.
It's designed to inflict maximum damage, maximum shame.
But Joe stands up to it. He refuses the label, refuses the shame.
Right.
But the real shocker, the thing that stops James cold, is Anne Forsyte walking in, the matriarch.
She crashes their little boys' club.
Totally. She walks into this all-male inner sanctum, as they call it, and basically reminds them who holds the real purse strings.
Right.
It completely paralyzes them. So Joe isn't thrown out.
Right.
Francis confirms that later. But he's damaged goods. James has won the power play for now. He's got Monty's vote.
Right.
The fight isn't over, but James has the upper hand.
So with that corporate battle paused, Joe had one last really important interaction. He goes to see Louisa.
His farewell, really. He offers more support, but she holds firm. She insists they're fine, they're content. She even challenges him.
Right.
They look deprived.
Her pride is just unwavering.
And it's here Joe finally says what he couldn't before. He admits that even knowing the consequences, knowing his family would likely cut him off, knowing all of that, I still would have come for her back then.
It's heartbreaking. The truth, finally spoken, but 10 years too late.
And Louisa accepts it with the sad finality. Wasn't to be. They both know the love was real, but the social barriers were just too high.
Which leads us back to Joe and Francis and that final brutal confrontation.
Yeah. Francis tries to spin Joe, keeping his board seat as, okay, now we can move on, bury this whole Louisa thing.
But he has to tell her the real truth.
He does. She thinks he was just, fond of Louisa.
Right.
But Joe corrects her. He says, I wasn't fond, Frances. My children were conceived of love.
Oof. That changes everything.
Everything. For Frances, it's the ultimate betrayal. She can't handle it.
And Frances reacts not with tears, but with steel.
So she gives him this impossible ultimatum. That love, as you call it, has no place in this house, so kill it once and for all, or face the consequences.
Wow.
It's desperate. She's drawing a line.
Yeah, totally agree.
So looking back at the whole episode, you really see these parallel tracks. Joe's marriage to Frances is shattered by honesty, by him finally admitting the truth of his feelings.
While Soames' marriage to Irene begins built entirely on secrecy, control, and a complete lack of genuine love, at least from her side, it's doomed by dishonesty from the start.
Exactly. One destroyed by truth, the other poisoned by lies and power imbalance. And we have to pause on Frances here. It's easy to see her as just jealous or vindictive.
But it's more complex, isn't it?
Much more. Her entire social standing, her identity in that rigid Victorian world is tied to being Mrs. Jolyon Forsyte.
Right.
It's an existential threat to her place in society. She's fighting for her survival in a way.
Which makes her ultimatum, however harsh, understandable from her perspective. It's self-preservation.
Absolutely. And what specific, maybe devastating action could Frances take? Her back is against the wall.
A chilling thought to end on.
Thanks for digging into this with us.
We'll see you next time on Off Script.